Hello, viewers. Today is August 23, 2024. I'm here to share my thoughts on the US presidential elections 2024. More specifically, I'd like to discuss about the campaign events and the news related to the campaign in the last 24 to 36 hours. First, I would like to talk about the Democratic National Convention. The last day of that convention was yesterday. And then I will discuss about the latest news that has come out indicating that RFK Jr. has decided to suspend his campaign and he has endorsed Donald Trump for president. And I will talk about whether that's going to really make a difference or not at the end of this program. So let me go straight to the Democratic National Convention day 4. Overall, they had a very good day 4 as well. At the end of the day, they had a very good convention. And the last day of the convention is typically the time that the presidential candidate will accept the nomination and give an acceptance speech. And Kamala Harris gave her acceptance speech yesterday. From my view, it was a very good speech. It was well written and well delivered. It touched pretty much all the points that needed to be talked about. First, she talked about her upbringing, her biography, so to speak, and how her mother had a good influence on her, and how she got involved in the civil rights movement at her young age, and also how she worked hard. And they were just a middle class family. They moved from one place to another, and how she worked hard to get to where she is now. She got a law degree, and all this she had worked hard to get to that point. So that's a very good message to the national audience. That is a very good way to explain your biography to the national audience. And then she talked about the domestic policies on how she's planning to help the middle class, and how she's planning to make sure that middle class is successful, and she's not going to basically work on giving tax cuts for the rich. Instead, she will try to help the middle class and those kind of domestic programs, which are pretty much in line with what the Democratic Party generally tends to do. Then she talked about foreign policy as well. She talked about how we need to end the war in the Middle East. And she also mentioned that we need to support Israel, and Israel should be safe and secure. But at the same time, she also called for a ceasefire. She wanted the hostages to come back and called for a ceasefire. And then she said, we can then talk about how to make sure the Palestinians will get their self-determination and whatnot. So from a foreign policy perspective also, she spoke pretty well. And at the end, she gave an uplifting message of who you are and what you are fighting for. So overall, all these three elements put together made it as a very good speech. And that is what the campaigns typically do. And in this case, they have done a very good job. They have introduced the presidential candidate by talking about her biography, the domestic policy proposals, and then an uplifting message at the end. That overall taken together became a very successful speech from the convention perspective, and also the national audience was able to get introduced to Kamala Harris in a nicer way. So I think going into the convention, Democrats had the momentum, and with the day 4 of the convention and the convention being over, I think they emerged stronger. So they still have the momentum. And then let me now go to the latest news that RFK Jr. has decided to suspend his campaign, and he has decided to endorse Donald Trump. So a lot of people in the media are now speculating that this is it. This is going to tip the scales in favor of Donald Trump presidency and the candidacy, and he's going to win because the race is too close to call and the margins are so small, and so on. But from my view, that's not the case. I would like to challenge the conventional wisdom here, because let's look at the facts here. RFK Jr. At this point of time was polling between 2 to 3% nationally, and it is true that he was polling double digits or close to double digits when President Biden was on the ballot for the Democrats. But as soon as Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris was the de facto nominee, a lot of people moved to the Democrat side. Some of them might have moved to the Republican side, but overall, if you look at it, a lot of those RFK supporters have moved. So he no longer has the kind of support that he had probably 2, 3 months ago. And number two, RFK Jr. is not Ross Perot or Ralph Nader. So I don't think we need to really worry about him. Ross Perot was polling pretty in the high teens or low 20s when he decided to drop out, and then he got back in. That's a different story. But still, similarly, Ralph Nader was a more popular leader than RFK Jr. So I don't think that he's going to make a big difference. This race is going to be a 2% race, and RFK Jr. is a non-factor. By third week of September, people will even forget that RFK Jr. existed in this race. So I don't think that that's going to be a big issue. But one more news that I heard was that RFK Jr. was also trying to contact the Kamala Harris campaign, and Kamala Harris did not want to even meet him. So that is a very good decision by Kamala Harris if that is what she had done, because I would have preferred both these campaigns to ignore RFK Jr. And in that way, they could have very easily isolated him, and he would have gotten probably 1 or 2% in the national polling, even less than that, I would say. And so that would basically discourage some of these fringe elements from running again. So I think Donald Trump missed that opportunity. He thought somehow that he's going to get all those 1, 2% of votes back to him. That is not going to happen. This is still a 2% race. Still, the momentum is with Kamala Harris, but still a very close race. And RFK Jr. is not going to make an impact. That's my take. And that's it for me today. I'll come back to you with a different program tomorrow. Take care.